Hey, this is Nick with Fix Your Gadget. Today I'm going to be changing the screen on an iPhone 6s. And this happens to be my personal phone, so I'm going to be very careful. This is a screwdriver magnetizer. First you remove the bottom screws with this top secret drill bit here. Then you definitely want to power off the device. And because it's a 6S on a 6, you want to put some heat on it or it's not going to open. You want it just below the point where it's going to burn your skin off. But warm, but not too hot. Usually this works. While it's hot, you can open it up. Start from the bottom. Down the sides to cut the adhesive. So you don't accidentally separate the LCD from the frame. And carefully lift up. And do not go past the 90 degrees. You don't want to go past, you don't want to pull the LCD past this part or you'll damage the flex cables. And the first thing you want to do is remove the battery. My hands would be more steady. And you want to keep your screws organized because they're all different sizes. I recommend using a magnetic mat. And no matter what repair you're doing, the first thing we do is disconnect the battery. Like that. This is the battery. Right here is the logic board. This is the bottom speaker. And this is the entire display assembly. This is what we're going to be replacing. Now we're removing the plate that covers the flex connections. There's 4 screws on the 6S. On the 6S Plus, there's I think 5. Now I have access to the flex connections. I'm going to carefully remove them one by one. some adhesive comes off, that's okay. Make sure there's no adhesive on the outside of the frame, and you're good. And we're going to disassemble the LCD assembly. Partially. First we want to test the new screen. Make sure our part's good. There's 3 screws on each side. And do not try this at home unless you're comfortable with the chance of destroying your own device. But I've done this. I'm probably in the low thousands, so I'm pretty comfortable doing this with my own device. So I'm going to stop here and test the screen before I go any further. You just connect the flex connectors to the corresponding connections, the male connections to the female connections on the logic board. Do the LCD first, and the digitizer second. And you want to feel for a nice solid click when you do that. Then put the battery back in. Hit the power button twice. Not once, twice. And looks like it's working. That's a good LCD. So once this is done booting up, or while it's booting up, I'm going to continue to disassemble my LCD assembly. Take off the home button shield, put it in its little square, and brightness is all the way down. Can't see it, but the brightness is all the way down. There's no home button installed, so I cannot adjust brightness at this moment, but I know the screen's good when I saw it booting up. So we're going to power that off again. I already removed the 6 screws on each side. We're going to disconnect the home button carefully. And you want to, you could either peel the adhesive off the back plate or cut it with a knife. I'm going to go with cutting, just because it's quicker. You can use an electric screwdriver, but I don't have one at the moment. But I would not use a drill. They have too much torque. And if you're using a non-magnetic screwdriver, you're going to have a really hard time doing this. Now, I'm removing the earpiece speaker. And once that's removed, we're going to go ahead and remove the home button and the proximity sensor front camera assembly. So I'm going to add a little bit of heat to the bottom and the top, and then remove those. Not too much heat, or you'll burn the LCD. Home button removed. Let's go ahead and take the new screen off so we don't get them confused. Always take the battery connection off before you do anything. And you want to de-static yourself. This is grounded to a grounding prong on a 3-port plug. So I'm not going to short out the entire device with static electricity. ESD Safety 101. You want to carefully remove the proximity sensor flex assembly without damaging the proximity sensor. You got it. Then you're left with this little piece, and you want to pull up on this. But I need a little bit more heat or that's gonna rip. It's a long video. Oops. Gently pull up. Sometimes the entire thing comes off. Just peel it off. That goes there. I just set them in the phone until I transfer them over. And I'm gonna stick this back here. Tweezers. Okay, and we're going to remove the back plate. Sharp as my blade. Sharp enough. And once it's lifted up, you want to get in the gap where the adhesive is, and it just cuts it right there. Careful not to cut the actual flex cables, or you'll be destroying your screen. And that's the back plate. This is the old screen. This is the new screen. That we already tested, we know it works. Some Captain tape. I'm going to put a Captain tape on right here, below and above it. Line it up with a spudger so it doesn't stick to your fingers. And do the same thing on the other side, only it's little bit easier. It's crooked. Go. I don't want it to be sticking to the back of the backlight. There. Bring it down. Then you can stick it. Right here is your backlight connection. You want to make sure that also has a little piece of electrical tape on it, which it should. Put the backplate back on your new screen. So again, do not try this at home unless you're experienced, or you might destroy a very expensive phone. Alright. Now we start reassembly. With the parts we pulled off the old screen. Usually this takes me about 15 minutes, 20 max, but for tutorial purposes, this video is going to be slightly longer than the usual time it takes me to do this. Like, I could do this in 15 minutes flat while having a conversation with someone. Install the home button. It just sits in its little hole there. Then there's two little dots here where that goes in there. Then you just plug in or snap in your home button flex to the flex on the new screen. Then we're going to install. Make sure you removed your plastic, the plastic covering the adhesive here, and then this little piece here aligns up to this white dot perfectly. Then you fold in your sensors, hold it down for a second there, get your speaker. Get it in place, line up the copper connections with the two holes on top of the speaker, hold it with one hand, grab the plate that goes over it, and carefully that came off, so I'm going to double check this. You want to maintain pressure while you're putting the plate on at the same time. It's a bit of a technique to it. Put at least one screw in, then you take the pressure off. Make sure your camera's lined up, which it is. Looking good. And put in the rest of the screws to the corresponding locations. this side, 3 on this side. My proximity sensor, front facing camera, and ambient light sensor is installed. And all we gotta do is put the plate on the home button assembly. And this actually goes underneath the back plate and then locks into this white dot here. You want to keep track of your screws. If you drop even one of them, good luck finding it. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. That's why I'm using magnetism. Get that nice and tight, so you know you got a good connection. Make sure the home button's clicky. If it's not, loosen the screws about a quarter turn. And it should click perfectly. Give that nice click. And now we're ready to install it into our chassis or the rest of the phone. Right back onto the logic board. De-static yourself every once in a while, but you really only need to do this once before you do a repair. I'm attaching the LCD flex. That's the first one up here.
Oh there.
Hey, how you doing?
All right. I came here